So do you remember Will, the guy who kidnapped Black Lightning's kids and then was held above a 2-story building with electricity and then shocked into a car with 1,000 volts? Guess what? He lived. But he really shouldn't have.
2 men responsible for kidnapping my girls are still out there somewhere.
Come on, y'all, it's time to rise up.
We had a deal.
Your daughter's been running their mouths to the police.
It is time that people know Black Lightning is back.
Hey guys, it's Shalico, back within another thing on DustyCartridges.com, and we're going to quickly talk about episode 2 of Black Lightning. Now, I'm not going to go into deep details about this episode because it was actually pretty standard with a little bit of action towards the end. But there were a couple things that stuck out to me. Some things that may be a good thing or it may be a problem going forward. Now, usually when you hit someone with 1,000 volts, they're dead. They're like really dead. But that wasn't the case for Will. Not only was he suspended above ground, he was hit with 1,000 volts into a parked car. And then in this episode, we found out, he just got up and walked away. Which leads to the question, how much power does Black Lightning actually have? Now, let's be real here. 1,000 volts is 1,000 volts. I know it's a comic book. I know it's fantasy, but we have to base it on some type of realism. Now, I for one was a bit turned off at the end of episode 1 because a hero shouldn't kill, especially in the first episode. But we find out Will lived, only to be killed later by his cousin, the man in the tracksuit. Now, they cheated on this one a bit, but they got the result that they wanted. But the question will come, how much power does Black Lightning actually have? Because if he's shooting 1,000 volts all over the place, then the 100s should become the 50s before the end of the season. Also in this episode, the man in the tracksuit, well, he's dead. But that brings us now to our main villain, ripped directly from the comic books. And no, his name isn't Mr. Albino, it's Tobias Whale. Yeah, Tobias Whale. But I like Mr. Albino better. Sorry. Also, kudos to Black Lightning for having an African-American lesbian character that's fully accepted by her parents. But the lovemaking scene was a little bit risque. I mean, you don't really see that in the Flash, but, you know, I'm cool. I'm cool. No need to tweet me. I'm cool.
You know how this ends, right?
Black Lightning, my man.
But finally, the episode was okay. A decent follow-up from the pilot. But the producers are going to have to figure out how many stories they want to tell at one time. I mean, so far to me, there's an A story, a B story, a C story, a D story, and an E story. That's 5 stories. That's a lot of stories for one show. There's Jefferson and his wife. There's Hood Alfred and his wife. There's Jefferson versus the 100. There's this kid getting drunk in high school. There's this other kid who's got powers. I mean, there's a lot going on.
I got you. No, I'm gonna take the stairs. I'm just getting back into this. Brother needs all the exercise he can get.
I'm not going to talk about every episode of Black Lightning. I don't think you want to see me talk about every episode of Black Lightning. But when something big happens, I'll come back. And if the show starts to suck, I'll probably come back for that too. But I'm rooting for you. I don't want you to suck. I want you to be cool. Black Lightning. Black Lightning. Finally, I want to send a special shout out and thank you to the Landrys for sending me this Black Panther. Can you see it? Black Panther Civil War pop. Now I can add it to my collection, which is full of, you know, Magnetos, because Magneto's the coolest. But I'll definitely add the Panther. You make sure you go see the movie. I'll definitely be talking about the movie. Come check me out on In Another Thing on DustyCartridges.com. I'm Shalico, and I'll see you soon.